Welcome. I'm the Deadwood Jedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today I'm very happy we actually get to have an interview with Oracle. He's a Plarium employee. He does the official announcements on the Raid Shadow Legends Discord, and we had a pretty good time. This is not a dark conversation, though we do cover the war. It's impossible to avoid, and a lot of what we're talking about is Plarium's reaction to it, what they did to prepare, what they're doing currently, and what they plan on doing in the near future. And so that is going to be a part of this conversation. If that's uncomfortable for you or triggering, I do understand if you click away. No problem with that at all. But if you can stick around, I think you guys are going to get a lot of information. We do cover, what Plarium plans on doing in the future, security issues, all that kind of stuff. And I would recommend also that you go check out Hell Hades' channel. He has an interview with someone you might know, Cirilla. It's very personal, but very poignant, and I think worth a watch. Lastly, I just want to ask you guys not to leave political comments down below. I understand this is a political conflict here, and I understand that's a big part of it, but what I've been focused on this whole time is just caring about the people involved, not necessarily the governments involved, and I'd like to kind of keep that same idea in the comments down below. So if you want to leave something supportive, I think that's great. If you want to leave a comment about the game itself, this is the time to do it. But we're going to leave the politics at the door for this video. So that's all we got going in. Let's go ahead and talk to Oracle. Well, we're joined here by Oracle, who is talking to us from Ukraine, which I think is pretty incredible. Oracle, so most of our viewers, I don't think actually know you. If they're not on Discord, they definitely don't. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what your role is in the game, so people have an understanding?
Sure. Hi players, my name is Oracle, or at least you know me as Oracle. I frequently pop up in Discord official server or on the forums, and I'm in charge of both Discord and forums, together with Green Knight and some other CMs there. And well, my responsibilities are quite straightforward. I should say I serve as a link between new players and company, and other way around. So I keep communicating feedback from you guys and notifying you about some important decisions or maybe some events, or I don't know, any sort of changes that you should be probably aware of. So that's it.
Yep. And just before we get into it, I just want to, make everybody feel good about this. And I just want to make sure where are you right now? Are you in the eastern part of Ukraine where the fighting's going on, or where have you located at right now?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm in the western part of Ukraine. I'm in the Lvivska Oblast, in small town. And Lviv is a quite big city in the western Ukraine. It is relatively safe here. Of course, as the events of the war unfold, and there is warfare across huge areas of my country, but here in the western part, it's relatively safe. There are some air raid warnings time after time, but for the most part, we don't sustain we don't suffer any damage, or at least any significant damage from planes or missiles or rockets or whatever. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. So you're healthy, you're safe right now. That's always number one important. Fantastic. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Let's really get into it. So I know there was anticipation of everything kind of starting in Ukraine with the buildup on the borders and stuff. Did Plarium do anything to prepare for this conflict? Were there any plans in place before things, really erupted?
Yeah, you're right. We anticipated those things coming, and beforehand, I believe somewhere around a month or at least several weeks before the war actually started, the company started to evacuate some essential equipment, some hardware, and they made sure that the servers work in a stable way, whatever happens, at least in the eastern part of Ukraine. And also we anticipated some. We actually prepared also to transfer our hardware abroad if necessary, so that players do not suffer any glitches or some server related bugs during any sort of emergency.
That's great. That's definitely that's encouraging. It's good that they know they had the kind of an idea of things were happening. Now, I know like you were living right outside Kharkiv. I believe I said that right. When the fighting started, and I know Plarium's kind of the main, a big part of their operations is based in there, right? Like what was that like? I mean, I guess first, like, what was that like for you, just trying to get out of Kharkiv on that first day?
Well, the very first day was quite an adventure, I should say. Well, we woke up at somewhere about 5 a.m. o'clock, and we woke up to very extremely loud explosions. It was clear right away that it's not some, I don't know, celebrations or
Right.
anything of that sort, because it was not an appropriate time for that.
Not fireworks going
It
off. I
was,
hear you.
yeah, not fireworks, definitely, and it was way louder. And so we anticipated those things coming as just as citizens.
Hmm.
We heard some rumors about Russia concentrating some military forces at our borders, and the tension was in the air, and so many of us had our bags, just some
You had
backpacks
go bags
prepared.
ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, with all the essentials like documents, some money, some clothes, all the essential stuff. And so I just start packing, and I was quite fortunate in that regard that my friends actually prepared beforehand the plan of evacuation here to the western Ukraine, and so I just jumped into their car and just went out of Kharkiv. But we were not alone. Of course, we were not the only car who
I can
decided
imagine.
to move.
I've seen some pictures about like the massive lines of cars and stuff and the traffic that was from leaving that part of the Ukraine, or Ukraine, I should
Yeah.
say.
It was driving through the Ukraine was through driving through Ukraine was quite tedious process, because a lot of cars, not so much of fuel, and well, it took me 4 days actually to get from Kharkiv to Lviv, while usually it takes no longer than one day. Of
Wow.
course, we stopped at some points just to refuel and to give our drivers some rest. But overall, it was a bit, I don't know. It put some strain on
I
us
can
all,
imagine it
sure.
would. I can imagine it would. I live out in LA. I know a little thing about traffic, but I've
Yeah.
seen those pictures. I don't think it holds a candle to what you guys had to go through there. Now, I also know that, I alluded to this earlier, that Plarium is, I don't know how to phrase this. I want to say Plarium HQ is kind of based in Kharkiv in Ukraine, but I also know that this is a massive company with, people living all over the world and locations all over the world. Do you think you can give us a bit of a breakdown of the geographical nature of this company? Because I don't think everybody has a full understanding. Like, I hear a lot of different places and a lot of different things. Maybe you could break that down for us a little bit.
Yes, yeah, sure. We have some offices outside of Ukraine, but our main core development teams and all the managerial staff and our department and many others like basically all the departments necessary for development and support in our games are located somewhere in Ukraine. The biggest offices are in Kharkiv, Lviv, Kiev, and Odessa. So it's quite
All over
spread
the
over the
country. Yeah.
country. Yeah. But I believe that the largest office is in Kharkiv, and so because we were like endangered to like the majority of our employees were in the part of the country which was put under the most danger.
Hmm.
So we had to evacuate a lot of people from there. We consider different ways of evacuating our employees, but when the war broke out, actually we decided as a company that it wouldn't be very reasonable to to arrange sort of centralized evacuation, because buses, they make large targets,
Yeah.
just in case we may face some air raid or something like that. And so we mostly evacuated individually, but in a
Right.
coordinated manner. We had a lot of channels to coordinate. We had hotline for that. We also have um, several charts that inform us about the situation in Ukraine or in a particular city or on a particular road. And though
Gotcha.
there was a lot of coordination.
And that's being done on a corporate level, like on a company wide type of the company's taking the lead in that situation.
Yes.
That's great. That's great because I remember in your previous in one of your your famous posts on Discord, you like alluded to that there's over 700 employees, I believe, in Ukraine or in Kharkiv particularly. So like, are you able to get in touch with all of them? I know not all of them have been evacuated from Kharkiv. Are there still plans to get everybody out of there as well?
Due to all the COVID restrictions imposed on the company by the situation in the world earlier, we were quite prepared to work remotely at
Right.
any point of time. So we had our back covered, at least in that regard. So we were prepared to work remotely anyway. But still, yeah, you're right. A lot of our employees were in Kharkiv, and a lot of them decided for various reasons to stay at least for a while in Kharkiv. Some of them have relatives and need to arrange some way to evacuate them as well.
Right, of
And
course. I mean,
I don't
that's your
know.
home. Nobody wants to leave their home, so
Yeah,
that only makes sense. I can totally see that, but it's great that you guys have been at least helping to coordinate and get as many people out as that want to get out.
However, I should say that a lot of though there are still some employees in Kharkiv, I get that many of them are either evacuated or maybe I don't know, maybe some of them are still on the road somewhere,
Hmm.
because they are still choosing where some particular locations to stay, because as you might imagine, there are a lot of refugees all across the country, and it might be not as easy to find to settle in a place you would like, because
Right.
apartments and houses are limited, and so we need to find a housing for all of them, and sometimes some employees need to change their location for this reason. As far as we see, there is no immediate threat of the city being encircled or cut off from the country.
Right.
So it's a bit more safe than, let's say, somewhere at the previous weekend.
Hmm.
However, people still evacuate from there. from there, and we still helping them. We still coordinating the effort. People bunch together with in cars. They find different ways. Some of them actually evacuate by train. So it's still a process, and
I'm sure. Trying to
yeah.
coordinate. I mean, I run a clan of, I've like 90 people, and that is a pain in the butt to try and coordinate. I can't imagine trying to talk to, 700 employees in a war zone. I think that's really incredible, and that's great that you guys are doing that. Obviously, obviously the biggest thing is making sure everybody's safe. The loss of life
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
it's a shame. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are really spending effort and energy and money on doing that. I do want to get into, I know there's a lot of people that are concerned about the state of the game itself, right? And so I do have some more specific questions about that. And I would say I think one of the biggest ones, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, is what is the status of the servers? Because obviously those, that's what the game information's on. That's where it's running. And also, we have things like payment information and personal information. And I think it would, a lot of people are concerned about that. And I think rightfully so. So I was just curious, what is the, do we know where those are located at, if maybe not specifically, but generally where they're located? How secure are they? Are there plans, depending on how the war progresses, to deal with that? I don't know if you can talk to that for a minute.
Well, unfortunately, I can't share the information about the exact location of servers.
I'm not going to go
But
there anyway. I want more gems, but that's not how I'm going to get them, so it's fine.
yeah. But we're pretty sure that they're safe in any scenario possible, even if even if war turns in some to some scenario where nearly all the country gets occupied, which is probably unlikely at this point anyway. Still, we're prepared for that, and you may be quite sure that it will not affect game or servers or game flow in any noticeable way.
The other question I guess I'd want to ask is, I know obviously everything's changing moment to moment. We're not really putting in a lot of. I can't imagine you have the manpower to even put into, progressing on developmental stuff for the game. Like I know this was supposed to be kind of this terrible joke coming. I know this was supposed to be the year of PvP, and that came true in the worst possible way. But I don't know if there's a what is the plan as far as the development of the game? Like I know we're putting most of the new stuff on hold right now, but does that include things like 2x events or 10x events, Hydra rotation, Doom Tower rotations, things that we actually have a normal rotation going right now with? Can we expect that normal rotation to continue, or is it possible that we're going to have issues with that as well?
So basically, all the rotations we have in the game, they're going to proceed as usual. All the Hydra rotations or Doom Tower or Faction Wars, those will continue as if nothing happened at all. About events, tournaments, different sorts of summon boosts, those will continue unaffected as
Great.
well. Yeah, and I think that we will go without fusion in March.
That was my next
And
question.
yeah,
What is? Are we going to be
and
having more fusions anytime soon? Is that something that we can anticipate going forward? Because I know that's been almost a regular part of our schedule as well. It's not a regular part, but it's been close to that. Can we anticipate that? How do we anticipate that moving along?
well, at least for now, I can say that we think that we will go without the fusion in March. Well, most likely we will go without the fusion in March, but let's see how it goes. Like we basically have all the manpower necessary to arrange fusion, I would say, but we had some requests from players to give some respite anyway from. So we decided we may direct more manpower to maybe some areas to ensure more stability of the game actually, and so we decided to be things in this way, at least for March.
I think I'm just going to speak for everybody and say that's probably a really good decision. I think we really support that. People do need a little bit of break sometimes, and obviously, there's more important things going on. And the stability of it, as far as the game goes, the stability of it, I think, is probably paramount at this point. So that's really great. I did want to make sure CVC, are those going to be happening at kind of the same regular intervals as they have been? I know sometimes those can kind of get off kilter, so I just want to check and make sure that's the thing we can count on continuing to happen.
Yeah, sure. We plan to arrange CVCs on the same schedule as
Okay.
usually, so it's not gonna change in any significant way. Perhaps as usual, some CVC may shift a bit on a particular day, but overall, it's not gonna change drastically. And
Okay.
actually, because we direct more resources now on stability, at least for now. And so as you saw, we had our last CVC without technical maintenance, as was
Nice.
a frequent request in the
Yes.
past, because we had to do some technical maintenance during CVC.
Hmm.
And this time we decided, well, now we have to go this extra security mile and to ensure players have as smooth experience as possible in the conditions
That's very
right now.
good. That's very good. I appreciate that. I also know that we're hitting another year anniversary for Plarium and Raid. And it seems a little uncouth to ask, but do you guys have plans for this?
Yeah, actually, we guess we have to postpone it a bit. There's no talking about canceling it, at least for now, and we still have a lot of. We have huge plans for that. But for now, we need to ensure more stability in the game, and we some pressing issues to resolve first. For instance, as you probably remember, there was an issue uh, related to login
Yes, that's right.
somewhere around, yeah, around 13th February, I believe, if I'm not
Hmm.
wrong. And we're still working on that issue. We are issuing compensations for people, and also we are worried about some freezes and lags that many people experience. We believe those are related to some Unity updates in the past, and maybe there is some additional configuration of the engine is necessary, uh, and so we need to concentrate on some bugs, but yeah, definitely anniversary is coming.
Well, that's a cool thing. I really liked last year's anniversary with the personalized videos. I thought that was really cool. The community absolutely loved that. So hopefully we get something along those lines would be really great to see in the future. That's actually interesting though that you bring up those login issues. That was actually a pretty big deal, and I know that you guys have been working with a bunch of people that had issues with that to resolve that. What I, I would like to know, because it's a pretty serious thing, what have you guys done to help compensate those folks and help resolve those issues, and and if you have ideas, you can share with us some things that you plan on doing in the future to help finish that process out.
So actually, we ensured that the thing will never happen again. At least, technically speaking, I'm not really competent in explaining all the stuff that our backend developers had done.
Wait, hold on. The
However,
community manager doesn't know how to actually code the whole game? This seems silly to me. That's crazy talk.
yeah. You're right. And but still, we carefully looked through our database and find all the users that were affected by this nasty bug,
Mhm.
and we found all the champions they've lost and maybe some other resources. Also we found that some champions whom some players lost, they were as masteries, and so we in different I don't know batches we issued different resources. For technical reasons, it was more safe to do it not in one go, but to distribute it on several steps.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was we had to be extra careful in that regard. But war had caught us just in the middle of that process, and so we had to postpone it. And this week we actually continued the process, and we had all the statistics necessary, all the database information, and so we just continued the process of issuing it, issuing the lacking resources to their owners. And so I think that at this moment, we should. I believe we've finished issuing all the compensation, but we're still monitoring the situations, the
Right.
situation, and in case some players, I don't know, still have some I don't know some
They can still reach out
problems
and
coming into
hopefully.
the result. We will look into that definitely.
Understood. I mean, because I know that, champions are one thing, masteries are another thing. Those seem pretty easy to be able to replace and, restore. I suppose the hardest part would be the gear itself. The gear is the most valuable part of any account. It's not the champions, it's not the gems. So being able to replace that or refund that, that's got to be the most important thing to be able to do. And considering that it's all digital stuff, it's not real. It seems like that's got to be I mean, who cares how powerful these people are? Like we have people buying packs for days and playing for years with +8, +4 everything on their account. I don't care how strong these folks that got screwed over end up getting. Making sure that they're whole seems like a really important step to take. But that's just me on my soapbox here. One more question kind of about this. I know that obviously with the sanctions coming in towards the Russian government from most of the Western countries and stuff, and I know a lot of the payment processes aren't being accepted. What can we anticipate as far as that goes? Who's going to be affected by that? Is that something that any of the players need to worry about, or how does that going to affect the game? Because I know that's not going to affect me where I live, but I do feel like that's something that might affect people out there, and it's good to know.
We're pretty close to announce our decision, but it will go probably today, a bit later. So probably you will see it already today. I'm not sure I can share our definite statement right now at the moment. At the moment, this interview is recorded, but probably not no longer than a day, you will see our statement in that regard.
Okay. Well, cool. I'll have everybody wait. If this is something that pertains to you, when that statement comes out, I'll update the pinned comment in this video, in the description of this video, so you guys can get that information. If you don't have access to Discord, then we'll try and keep everybody updated in this video here as much as we possibly can.
Also, if I may add to the question you asked a
Sure.
bit earlier, I just forgot to mention. You were right. We put on hold for now development of some additional features for the game,
Right.
just because we need to wait for the process of evacuation of our employees is finished, and to be sure that all our employees are safe. And also, a lot of our employees, they help their relatives to evacuate. They help their friends and relatives to find some housing, some stay here or there. And also, a lot of our employees, they volunteer to help those people who are in more dire situation, who are in more dangerous, maybe location or position. And so many of us feel this is our duty as citizens to help our those who are
Understood.
our loved ones or friends or whatever people who need our help.
I think we can
So
all agree that
uh,
family is going to take the priority here, especially over,
yeah.
a job, a company. Like as much as it's important, as much as we love it, I think we all understand that part of things.
Yeah. However, a large number of our employees, they are already settled, and they have all the hardware necessary. They have stable internet connection. They have like all the necessary essentials for living and working. And we just need to wait a bit to make sure that the rest is safe as well, and then we will kick into high gear again, and we'll continue our development process of new feature and integration them in the game actually. And talking about community, we actually plan to continue our usual community activities um, like memes contests,
Okay.
fun art contests. Maybe there will be some other contests coming, stuff like that. So community, get ready. We will, as soon as we get all our employees safe, we will continue our usual stuff that you like.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. Artists, musicians, cosplayers, get prepared. In a month or maybe a little bit longer, we're gonna get some more contests for you guys to get going. That's great. That's a really uplifting, positive, forward-thinking approach to stuff, and that's always, that's something especially on my channel, that I really appreciate. So that's great. Thank you so much for taking the time and talking with us today. I'm just going to speak for a lot of people. I know that, much of the world is behind you guys, and I think all the players here, would hope and wish that you guys are all happy and healthy and come out of this on the other side. And so just, stay safe, my friend.
Yeah. Stay with us. Thanks for having me. It was great pleasure to talk to you, Deadwood, and to you players. And stay with us. We still fighting. We're still determined, both as a country, both as a country, as company. Our people are determined to continue to be productive in all ways imaginable.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, keep that spirit up. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.